Hi guys, and welcome back to another video Game with Powers. I'm Jake, and to back or not to back, that is always the question if you are in the hobby of board gaming. And if this is your first time watching one of these videos by me, guys, basically in to back or not to back, I will be going over a Kickstarter campaign that has around 7 to 12 days left. I'll be giving you a preview of the campaign, showing you what is the game and everything that the campaign page has to offer, and then I'll be talking about things that I like or that you might like, things that I don't like or have reservations about, and things that I think you might not like. And then I'll be recommending should you back the game or not. And then lastly, I'll be telling you if I am backing the game. All right. So for today, we are actually changing gears and going over to Gamefound. Okay. That's because this is a special game that is that's growing on me a whole lot, that I'm starting to like. And today we're going to be taking a look at the new standalone expansion to Skytear Horde called Monoliths. So let's go ahead and jump right into the campaign page. Alright guys, so here we are at the campaign page. We have over here on Gamefound, Skytear Horde Monoliths by Skytear Games. This has 9 days left, and it has reached a 180,000 euros, alright, with 1,700 backers, okay? So Skytear Horde, look, there's been a lot, I have done a lot of content on Skytear Horde, guys. If you are not familiar with that, I'll go ahead and link my playlist up here with a lot of the games, with all of the Skytear Horde content. For those of you who have not watched any of these videos and this is your first time watching me, Skytear Horde is a tower defense card battler type game where you're going to be playing cards in lanes, and you are going to be fighting each other, right? Trying to defend your castle. And so the objective is to damage your opponent's portals, defeat monsters to draw cards, and then eventually bring this outsider, this big bad boss out, and to defeat the boss. Now, each boss has a certain number of levels to it. Most bosses have 2 levels. Some boss has 3 levels, all right? But once you defeat that boss, the second level or the third level of that boss, you are victorious, okay? However, if you ever run out of cards in your deck, you will lose, or if your castle ever takes more than 20 damage, you will lose as well. So it's a very great solo game. It can be played co-op, and it even can be played 1v1 and up to 3 players with 2 co-op players against somebody playing as the bad guy deck. So has a lot of variability, 1 to 3 players, but primarily it's being marketed and sold as a solo game, all right? And so this just kind of talks about the game, setup, play 30 minutes or less. These are the different modes, 2 to 3 player modes, right? So what is this in a nutshell? So in this campaign, you can get the Skytear Horde, all of the original content from the Kickstarter version in 2022, as well as the standalone expansion for Monoliths, all right? So again, it says, why back now? Now or never. The retail box, everything except the retail box is exclusive to this campaign. You're going to save up to 50%, which is true. By the way, I believe the original box that I got was the deluxe version. That was 60 euro, okay? Which I think was about 65 to 68 US dollars. That's what I paid for it. On their website, skytearhorde.com, right now, they're selling that for $109. So definitely, guys, this is a chance to get this content at a very cheaper price than what you would normally do, right? So you have a bunch of different matchups, a true solo mode, and it's always improving. So let's take a look at what is in the box, right? So this is going to be the New Players Deluxe box, okay? So this is the basically all-in content for the New Players Deluxe. So in this box, you're going to get everything from the original first Kickstarter pledge, okay? Plus everything from this new campaign. So everything from the original Kickstarter pledge is the 3 Alliance decks and 8 castles, the 3 Skytear Horde decks, the Illusionist expansion, the Utesh expansion, which if you watched any of my videos, I've done a playthrough using all of these decks, guys. I have done a playthrough going against all of these decks right here. I have not done a playthrough of the Nightmare deck, so be on the lookout for that. You're going to get the Minion Aid cards, the Portal cards, and the Deluxe tokens, as well as the playmat, alright? As well, you're going to get everything from this new campaign, right? So you're going to get 3 new Alliance decks for the Leviathan, the Talit, and the Kuromo clan, as well as the Diviners expansion for the Nupton clan. You're going to get 3 Monolith Horde decks, as well as a new Horde deck for the Broods expansion. You're going to get some Ally, Brood, and Root tokens, a revised and updated rulebook, some new plastic tokens. So in the original campaign, they did not make the -5 or +5 plastic tokens, right? They just made cardboard punch-outs. So you're getting those. You also get a challenge expansion, a Colossals expansion, and then you are getting 25 card dividers as well, okay? So discover the 8 Horde and 8 Alliance decks. There's a total of 64 combinations out of the box. So this is the Leviathan Shapeshifters. This is the original Leviathan clan from the original game. So this is all going to be content from the original game. I'm not really going to talk about this a whole lot. I'm just going to kind of slowly scroll through all of this content so you can guys just get a glimpse of it. Again, I have done a playthrough using each of these decks and going against each of these decks here in all across my videos. Again, that playlist was linked earlier if you want to take a look at that. The only deck I did not show off right here is the Nightmare expansion deck going against the Dreaming Matriarch. So I'll definitely do a playthrough of that coming up. But let's go ahead and take a look at some of the newer decks that are coming in Monolith, right? So we have the Leviathan Enforcers Monolith deck, okay? So again, here you're going to have Royal Guards and Shapeshifters. So we got our 2 heroic allies. We have Herald and Freyhel, all right? Let's see. Each ally gains +1 attack when you play this card. That's pretty good. We got some spell cards right here. We got 2 new castles, right? And then let's take a look and see what it says. So the backbone of the Leviathan Enforcers deck are simple disposable troops, ally tokens. Summon, boosted, and defended by spells, towers, and allies. This is a big change from the previous Leviathan deck that was all about massive allies. So it seems now your allies are going to be disposable using these allies cards with this deck. So adding some more flavor to that. Let's take a look at the Kuromo deck. So we have Kichi and Hokusai as the 2 heroic allies. Some spell cards, Scrap Tinkerer. Attachments, we now have a blade and a Bushido helmet, looks like. We got Masters of the Forge as an ally, and then the 2 castles, Zeno of Kaeno and Crafter's District. All right, this is going to be Kichi's, and this is Hokusai. So it says, the Kuromo Artificers are specialized in crafting artifacts and powerful weapons. These attachments and a plethora of cards around them make sure the Alliance has the perfect answer to any threat coming from the Horde. All right. Next, we have the Talit Custodians. Well, this look pretty creepy. We have Nelaclin and Zakol as the 2 heroic allies. We have a tower, showcasing the Tower of Grief. Another tower, Unburial Rites. Tribesmen allies, okay? And then the castle. So the Karchan of Zotien, looks like the pyramids right there. Underworld Gateways, interesting. That is Zokol's castle and I can't even pronounce that dude's name. Nelaclin's castle. So it says the Talit Custodians rely heavily on totems to gain and defend the control of the lanes. Many new towers and 2 castles designed to work with them open the way to decks centered around towers with very few creatures. Interesting. So more towers focused in troops. And then we have the Slithers deck, all right. Looking at these monsters, these Slithers with a new epic, the outsider is going to be Doom Vines. So these Slithers are plants, mushrooms, and other weird creatures growing out of the woods. The outsiders are infested portals, and the roots tokens will creep into the lanes and clog them, waging an inexorable war of attrition. Interesting, all right. We have the Sinklings, all right. We got Sinkling monsters, so sea monsters right here. The outsider called the Silent Damsel, all right. Interesting. So these monstrous sea creatures enter the battlefield concealed, face down, thanks to their outsider aura. A new mechanic, an ability always on, influencing the game from start to end. Get ready for anything. Interesting, all right. And then the Monolith deck, all right, with the epic monster, the outsider called the Purple Circle, all right. Have you ever seen a horde without monsters? This is it. Powerful monoliths sustain and empower minions that charge into the lanes, threatening your castle as much as your alliance deck. So that's pretty cool. A whole new different mechanic in terms of that. And then we have the Nuptin Diviners expansion. So the two heroic allies, we have Kepiax and Setharu, probably butchering these names. Some spell cards there, allies in two new castles, Hetpastu of Utesh and Illusionist Lodge. So it said the Nuptin Diviners are the most tricky to pilot with very few allies. Their strategy is all about buying time as they prepare incredible turns, casting a lot of spells to trigger game-breaking combos out of their magical storms. All right, pretty nice. And then we have the Broods expansion, right? So the Brood deck with the epic monster of a Genesis Monolith. All right, look at this Devour, epic monster, the Brood. Swarm of insects made of rocks will stay in the back line with minions and pillage your resources. You will regret the good old days when minions were the only ones pillaging your deck. Just make sure to bring enough area of effect damage. Interesting. As well, we're also getting the Colossus expansion, or the Colossals expansion. So 9 new Colossal Outsiders, which is 22 unique cards. So you asked for bigger Outsiders, how about these Colossals? They are so big, they take up 2 to 3 lanes at once. You might aim straight for the heart or try to cut their appendages first. Either way, good luck, you will need it. Fight 4 completely new Monolith Outsiders and 5 of the previous Outsiders in their Colossal form. So this is awesome because this is originally what they were going to do with the Outsiders in the original game. They were going to have them be 2 cards that would come together to form an Outsider. They ended up taking that away. I think I cannot remember the reason off the top of my head, but they ended up taking it away, which a lot of people were like, oh, that's a bummer. But this is awesome. This is one of the things that interests me with the game, is to have these, 3 giant monsters come out. So that's very cool. Challenge expansion, okay? So the exclusive expansion, while with Monoliths we're introduced to a new system set, the difficulty of Skytear Horde, each card now has 3 variations with 3 different power levels indicated by a card at the bottom. This system allows you to tweak the difficulty basically even further, and even the consistency of the Horde deck by selecting with 1 or 2 specific power levels out of the 3 available, okay? So giving me more stronger cards, and making the difficulty even more challenging. So 80 unique cards. The challenge expansion makes possible to use this system with the old 4 hordes. Basically contains 2 variations, 1 non-mythic and then the mythic. They only have 1 version right now, always strong. So where there will always be a recommended sequence of hordes to fight with increasing difficulty, this system will allow you to tweak both the challenge and consistency of the horde. So again, just more balancing of the cards. Again, I do feel like this game can be very challenging at the higher horde deck. So when you get to that Predator and Nightmare Horde deck, I haven't played the Nightmare Horde deck, but the Nightmare Horde deck is supposed to be harder than the Predator one, and the Predator one was very hard. But I do feel when you're getting to that higher difficulty, things can snowball very quickly and get out of control. And so again, just bringing some more balance to the game, all right? So then, only the Monolith retail box will be available in the retail. So our pledges that we have available is the Monolith Gameplay All-In, the Returning Players Deluxe, and the New Players Deluxe. So this would be 49 euros, 69 euros, and 129 euros, all right? I'll go over kind of what everything you get in there. So basically right here. So we have the Monolith Gameplay All-In for $49.99. In this, guys, you're going to get the retail box for Monolith, all the contents. You're going to get the Colossal expansion, the Nuptin Diviners expansion, the Broods expansion. You also get the free upgrade pack for returning backers, which is 17 dividers, 4 large held tokens, 1 castle held tokens. And these components are included as well as the other rewards. So, I'm sorry. Those components are included in the other rewards as well. So that's what you will get for the Monolith. This is good for new and returning players, all right? You have the Returning Players Deluxe Edition, which is 69 bucks. In this, you're going to get everything from the Monolith expansion, as well as the Monolith Deluxe box. So just basically a bigger box that's going to be able to fit all of the old content as well as this content. You're going to get the challenge expansion because you have all the original cards. You're going to get these new deluxe tokens, the 4 large hell tokens, the castle tokens, and some of those other components like the armor and the sword tokens as well. And then you're going to get 25 card dividers for all of the content. And then you also have the new Players Deluxe version for $129. You're going to basically get everything from all of this campaign and the old campaign and all of that, as well as the playmat, the deluxe tokens, everything from the previous campaign as well. And then you have the collector's editions for both of these, getting sleeves, the art book, and the promo packs if you choose so, right? So here they are again, $49 for the gameplay all-in, Monolith Deluxe for returning players, returning collectors for $109, the new Players Deluxe for $129, and the new collectors for $194, and then the retailer pledge, all right? They also have some add-ons here that are available if you want to take a look at those. So the original retail box for $35, the playmat for $13, the deluxe tokens for $10, the Nuptin Illusions for $15, Skytear Horde Deluxe tokens for $10, the art books for $16, sleeves for $30, Monolith Challenge expansion for $12, and the 8 full castle promo. All right, well, we're not going to go over stretch goals, but basically these stretch goals are going to be adding in new cards, guys, like new heroes, new monsters to the Horde decks, and things like that. But let me get this thing back up. Alright guys, so let's go ahead and talk about what I like about the game, or what I think you might like about the game. So the very first thing starting off I think you're going to enjoy about the game is just the artwork and the presentation of the game in general. Look, the cards, the details of the artwork on the cards is just beautiful. The colors, just the presentation as a whole of this game is very gorgeous, is very pretty. It has that, fantasy type feel to it, that Magic the Gathering type feel to it. And so if you love that fantasy, if you love that Magic the Gathering, Hearthstone type feel, this is going to be a game for you. The next thing that I think you guys are going to like about the game is that, look, this game is primarily designed as a solo player game, right? Now, it can be played cooperatively as well, but I think the cooperative, while it's good, it's not as good as the solo play. And then it can be played with up to 3 players, or you can do like a 1v1 where you are playing as a clan and somebody else is playing as with the Horde deck. I have not tried that mode yet, so I don't know the competitive side of it. But I would think that side would actually be pretty fun. But talking about the solo mode, that's where this game was primarily marketed and designed for. And so if you are a big fan of solo games, if you primarily play solo games, or you're looking for a game to play by yourself when the wife or your partner or your friends are not there with you, then I think this is a very strong candidate for a solo game, right? Me and Sierra like to play games all the time, but she's not up to playing games. And so a lot of the time when I want to play something by myself, I'm a fan of that card game. I'm a fan of card games, right? I loved Yu-Gi-Oh! When I was growing up. I had a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh! Cards, went to tournaments. I love that style of play and those types of games. So this gives me that feel of playing against somebody. I'm playing against an AI, okay, that is very responsive, right? There is no like solo variant or solo thing. Again, the game was designed to be played solo, and so it fills that niche for me. So I think that's something else you're gonna like about it. And then just the mechanics in general. The game it's a tower defense game. It's a unique tower defense game where you're playing in the lanes, and you are having the you're trying to defend your castle. And so again, it's just a cool mechanic to the game. All right. The next thing that I think you guys are going to like about it is the value that you are actually getting. So again, like it does say, Skytear does say you are getting 50% off. I don't know if it's quite that much, but you are getting a lot of value for this game right now. Like for example, I backed the original Skytear Deluxe box, okay? And so that was 60 euros, so about 65 to 68 US dollars at the time. And if you go on Skytear website right now and want to buy it, it's $109. So I did save a good chunk, all right? And this campaign, the only thing that's coming to retail is the retail edition of the box. So if you get the deluxe version, that is not coming to retail. So you are going to have a Kickstarter exclusive. And normally Kickstarter exclusive games are going to give you a higher value. And so if you do not end up liking the game, you'll be able to sell it back and get majority of your money, if not all of your money back. So there's good value in here going to this because you know, you might love the game, but you might only try it, and then you might liking it, and then you're gonna have to pay exponentially more for the game. All right. And then the last thing I think you're gonna like is the deck construction and the deck building of the game, as well as the difficulty of the game. So there's 3 different difficulty levels. You have easy, you have hard, and you have nightmare difficulty. And within each of those difficulties, right, you can change up the outsider or the boss that you're facing. You know, there's multiple, I think there's like 4 or 5 different outsiders that you can play with. So you can mix and match those how you like. You can also pick the horde decks, right? You know, you have the Predator Horde deck, the Nightmare Horde deck, you have the Renegade Horde deck, the Undead Horde deck. So not only can you just play with each of those Horde decks individually, you can mix and match Horde decks, kind of like the deck construction, or combine Horde decks together to give a more difficult presence to the game, right? On that same note, they also have deck construction. So instead of just playing with the pre-built decks using the colors or just the generic clans, you're able to construct decks of different clans and combining them together to really get a deck that's more of your typical play style, because each deck is going to kind of have a certain play style, right? And so, for example, for me, I do not really care for the green deck, which is the Talent clan, right? The Talent clan is all about sacrificing your units to buff other units and like take out the minions. I'm not a very big fan of that. I do enjoy the Kuromo clan, which is the red clan. They're all about attachment. So equipping attachments, getting increased attack, or doing more damage, or being able to pillage, you know, destroy the minion cards and things like that. I like that kind of play style. So you can take that play style and mix in other cards to kind of find a deck that is right for you. So those are some of the things that I think you guys are gonna like about this game. Now let's talk about some of the things you might not like, right? The first thing is that, again, I'm just gonna go with the piggybacking off what I said from the last thing that you might like is the difficulty and the deck construction, right? This game is fairly difficult and it is very challenging, and there are times where you will get frustrated with this game because things can snowball on you very quickly. Like there are times where I have just quit this game in like 2 or 3 turns because I've just been snowballed out the gazebo, and it's very frustrating. And the main component is because you have, not only are you trying to defend lanes from monsters, but they have minions that are in the back line. And so these minions will get health tokens, and at the end of a certain phase, if you don't destroy the minions, they're going to discard cards from the top of your deck for every 1 health that they have. So there are cards in each horde deck, they're common cards that you shuffle in with each horde deck every playthrough, that will give minions like 3 health, all right? And then they give them 3 health, but then you can't engage those minions for the turn. Or they give them 3 health, and during the pillage phase where you discard cards from your deck, they're going to pillage 1 extra card for each health on them. And so you have to make those decisions, and you have to ride a very fine line between destroying minions and discarding cards and having your castle take damage. So I can see how that can be upsetting to a lot of people. However, I do believe in like the easy difficulty. It is a good, it's pretty easy, but it's a decent challenge where I'm not really snowballed a whole lot. Continuing with that is the deck construction, right? So a lot of people might not like deck construction, okay? You might just want to play with the pre-built decks, and so that's what Sierra likes to do, just play with the pre-built decks. However, that being said, if you want to get to the higher difficulties and the more challenging horde decks, I do feel like you're going to have to do deck construction or deck building at some point. The pre-built decks can only get you so far because they do have limitations, and so you're going to need to mix and match and combine that. And so that might be that might turn some people off, right? Marvel Champions turn me off in that aspect. Now, the difference between Marvel Champions and here is at least on the back of the castle cards, they give you almost hints and pointers of the cards that you're going to want to use, right? So for example, like on the back of one, it'll say if you're playing like my deck construction guide, right? The Leviathan clan, which is the blue clan I was playing with, it said I could take cards from the yellow, the Nupton clan, or the green clan, Talek clan. So I had the option to take either or, right? And so that's basically my choice. So I could mix and match, right? With Marvel Champions, I don't recall any, when you had to mix in like the aggression or the whatever, it was like, yeah, it was all just red cards, but no specific red cards. So that's what I didn't really like about it, is there was too many of a certain kind, if that makes sense. Here, it's pretty easy because they give you constraints, and I think that's what I was trying to explain. They give you constraints. So they say you can mix with the yellow clan, but you can only use this certain type of allies from the yellow clan. And so, again, everything's in that. If you want a more in-depth explanation on that, check out my deck construction guide, which I'll post a video up there where I go and explain all that stuff. So that can be very overwhelming to a lot of people, right? The next thing I think is, again, the value in itself, right, is this game is pretty expensive. And so if you don't pick it up on Kickstarter and you go and try and pick it up somewhere else, it's going to run you a pretty penny. Like, I believe just the retail edition of the original Skytear Horde is $50. Do I think the game is worth $50? I don't think the game is actually worth $50. I think this is a $35 to $40 game. I would not pay $50 for that game. So it's almost constraining you a little bit to where it's like, if I don't get the game now, I'm going to have to pay a higher price point for it if I want it down the road. So I think, they kind of try and get you a little bit here, and I know that can be upsetting to a lot of people. Other than that, I'm trying to think of, the rule book is a little wonky from the original Skytear Horde, okay? But hopefully they said they've updated the rulebook in this new campaign. So, I mean, if you back this new campaign, you'll get the new updated rulebook, so a lot of those things will be fixed. Other than that, I think that's really it. So, should you back the game? All right. Let me go ahead and go down to these rewards here and tell you what I'm thinking. So should you back the game? Yes, I do believe that you should back this game, right? This is a game that's going to give you that Hearthstone magic feel. This is primarily a solo game if you like playing games solo, or even if you don't like playing games solo, this can be a game that you have as a solo game that is going to give you a lot of value, and you're going to get a lot out of it, and it's really fun, right? So I do think you should back the game. What should you do, though? I would say, look, if you want the deluxe version, that's 129 euros. Look, that's a lot of money, right? You're looking at 135 US dollars, maybe a little bit less. That's a lot for a card game. Now, again, you do get the deluxe box. You get the playmat. You get all the deluxe tokens, but I really don't think the deluxe tokens are that necessary. I do feel the playmat is necessary. I do think the playmat does, not only does it add visually to the game, but I think it does help with the lanes and figuring those out. What I would do, guys, is I would get the Monolith gameplay all-in, right? This would get you all of the content for this Monolith expansion. I believe this is enough content for you to get, around 50 to 100 playthroughs to really get a good feel of the game. Again, because you're getting 4 alliance decks, right? You're getting the yellow clan, the red clan, the green clan, and the blue clan. You're getting 4. What is it you're getting? Let me scroll up here. So you're getting the 4 alliance clans, you're getting 4 horde decks, you're also getting the colossal, well, that's part of the horde deck, the colossal expansion, and things like that. So you're getting 4 horde decks, you're also getting 17 dividers, health tokens, and a castle token. So I think you're getting really a lot of content that you need to try the game if you've never tried it. What I would also do is I would also recommend picking up the playmat for $13. Again, guys, I feel like this is a game where the playmat is actually going to help you because, again, it's going to give you the spots. If you've ever watched any of my videos, it's going to separate the lanes out for you, give you a better visual representation. It's going to give you spots to put your deck and spots to put the minions. If you don't have the playmats, basically they give you 2 cardboard little punch outs that you'll just put out in front of you, and you have to kind of guess the lanes and kind of just set them down. So the playmat for 13 bucks, it's a very good quality playmat, adds to it visually and also helps with the lanes. But what I would do is get the Skytear Horde playmat, get the Monolith gameplay all in, and then if you do end up liking the game, what I have found is on boardlandia.com, boardlandia.com, this is not a sponsor by them, but I just have seen on boardlandia.com, they have the retail box of Skytear Horde for 35 bucks, right? Or no, it might be 36. So the same price that you could get the Skytear Horde retail box here. And again, that would get you some more content that you could play the game with. So that's what I would do. So should you back the game? Yes, I think you should back the game. I think this is great value, again, because look, this is gonna retail at 85 bucks. So you're saving 35 bucks here. So I would recommend backing the game. I would do that. Or if you feel comfortable paying the $129, you get the deluxe box, all the deluxe tokens, everything. I would definitely get that as well if you do have the money for that. All right. So what am I doing? I am backing the Monolith Returning Players Deluxe edition, right? So this is going to give me a bigger box so that I can hold all this new content, because the original box, the deluxe box, barely fits all of the content sleeved, okay? And then giving me some of these extra deluxe tokens as well. I'm not too concerned about the card sleeves because I'll sleeve everything myself, but that is what I'm doing, the Returning Deluxe Players. All right, guys. Well, look, I hope this was, I hope you enjoyed this content. I hope you got to enjoy my recommendation. Again, I think this is a great solo game. It does work cooperatively well. You can have a lot of fun with that. And then again, it has that competitive aspect where you can play 2v1 or 1v1, however you want to. But you got a lot of different options. But overall, I think this is a great tower defense game. This is a great card battler game that gives you a feel where you have options of a pre-built deck, you can construct a deck, and you can do many different things. And just, it's good value overall in general. But all right, guys, that is my recommendation. That's what I'm doing. As always, if you guys hit that, please hit that notification bell so you can be notified when new content is dropped. And if you have not subscribed already, please go ahead and subscribe to our channel. All right, guys, y'all have a great one. Bye.